Hello everyone, Daniel from DePIN Hub over here. This episode is brought to you by IoTex, the DePIN modular infrastructure for everyone. Hello everyone, Daniel from DePIN Hub over here, and today we have Charvel, CEO and co-founder of Wayru, a project bringing internet to the underserved with the power of DePIN, and it's a project that I've been following for quite some time already. They were the first cohort of the IoTex DePIN Surf. We've been following them on Denver and across the world, even in Hong Kong, right, a few months ago. It's really interesting, the progress, and I'm very happy to have you on the podcast today to talk about this project that you are building. Let's start by you introduce yourself and your background and your role at Wayru.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the invite. Very, very happy to be here. My name is Charvel. I'm CEO and founder at Wayru. Wayru is a decentralized and tokenized internet network aiming to democratize internet access and ownership of internet infrastructures to help close the digital gap once and for all by creating a global unified Wi-Fi network powered by hotspot operators who could be you. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here. About myself or my background, I've been on the telecom sector for over 12 years now. I developed the first Wi-Fi marketing platform in Latin America back in 2012. With that platform, I sold that to a big company, and I got hired by that big company. I managed teams in over 6 countries as a regional Wi-Fi marketing director. We connected millions along the way, but I wasn't quite solving that problem that I wanted to solve, which was lack of connectivity. So I quit that job and I built my previous startup, which was aiming to businesses at the bottom of the pyramid to be able to make money by sharing Wi-Fi and selling micro recharges to people nearby. And why we did this was because the insight I brought from my jobs before, we understood that most of the people were recharging daily on a daily basis, paying, let's say, $1 to get 100 megabytes of data, which was crazy for me. So what I did, and I knew where they were recharging. So what we did, we offered convenience stores to set up a hotspot, like a device, a Wi-Fi device, with a specific platform that will allow users only to get connected with a voucher, with like a code. So these people will start selling codes. So people will get codes for, I don't know, 4 or 5 times less than whatever they were paying. And they were getting 4 or 5 times more data. So it was a hit. It was very, very local. It worked very good, but then COVID hit. Before COVID hit, we even got selected for an accelerator for that startup. I went to Chile, to Startup Chile, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, all these stores closed. We had hundreds of stores with this service being offered, and we had to close down shop. We did get like a small exit for some part of the software for that we packed that for one of our partners at that time, but we had to close shop. And then I got into crypto a lot more during COVID. So before that, I got into crypto around 2017, and during COVID, I got into crypto a lot more. And once I became like an active retail investor, I realized, hey, I could use this technology to actually build what I was trying to build before, but at scale. So that's when I started drafting possibilities, talking to people, and during in year 2021, I started with Wayru, and I've been leading Wayru ever since.
Yeah, that's a really nice story. It's like how the stars aligned, and then now crypto made a lot of sense to really hyperscale your project, right? Like taking all this experience that you have in the background. I think everything compounded to this point that you have Wayru Network. And I think it's this super interesting story. Tell us a little bit more Wayru now specifically. You guys came up with this idea, like all your background now trying to do something on crypto, on DePIN, right? What's the main goal for this project?
You have to understand how this started and why I started on the telecom sector. I didn't went to school for telecommunications. I actually studied business first, and then I went for my second career for architecture. And while I was at school in architecture, I had to do some work for school. I wasn't home. I needed to get internet access. I had to go to a cafeteria, pay for a coffee for the Wi-Fi, which didn't work. So it got me frustrated. It got me interested of what was happening elsewhere about connectivity. And then I realized that the UN had just declared internet access somewhat a human right a year before that. I got very interested in that. I realized that the problem was huge. I saw an opportunity, and I actually dropped out of architecture school to pursue that first project that I told you about that became a Wi-Fi marketing platform, and then I sold. That's how Wayru started. So that got me into very passionate about this problem. So let's talk about Wayru. What Wayru basically does, it allows people to become a hotspot operator, which means they can share connectivity with others using our proprietary device or one of our proprietary devices. We will be releasing new models in the near future. Or you can also, well, you get one of those devices, you connect it to your Wi-Fi, to your internet router from any provider. You onboard it with our mobile app and you're ready to go. You can now start providing connectivity to whoever's nearby. People can connect via captive portal, or they can connect with our mobile app using Passpoint and Open Roaming protocol credentials to auto connect everywhere they go. But if you don't mind, you don't have to necessarily buy a device from us. You can turn your everyday Wi-Fi router into a Wayru hotspot. So we have been focusing a lot on firmware, not just hardware. So we focus on the firmware that runs our hardware, and we extended compatibility to existing routers as well. So you can get an off-the-shelf router that is compatible with Wayru OS, which is the name of our proprietary firmware. You turn it, you flash your device with our firmware, and you turn that into a Wayru hotspot, and you can become a hotspot operator as well. Both options work for you to become a hotspot operator. The only difference is in one case, we sell you the device. In the other case, you have to pay for the licensing fee of the firmware to use on your device. Either way, you become a hotspot operator and you start earning rewards as soon as your hotspot is up and running. And for the users, as I mentioned, they can connect easily with our mobile app because it will show them all the hotspots around, and they will just go with the app and just click on the one they want to connect and just click connect, and they'll get online. If they don't have the mobile app and you happen to be nearby a Wayru hotspot, you'll be able to connect via a captive portal, which will show you options to create an account or log into your existing account, or it will allow you to quick connect for 20 minutes by watching a short video, and then you'll be ready to go and just get connected.
That's awesome. Is it based like Open WRT, for example, the open source software that runs on a lot of those devices? Nice, because I think that makes it very easy for anyone to install. Then I think there's so many routers out there that accept, right, like Open WRT to be installed. So
there's thousands of existing devices, and we are working on something that is like a fragmented OS that can run on top of other OSs. So you can use, you can already have a fleet of hotspots or a big network deployed using OpenWRT. What we'll do, we'll just create this OS layer that will run on top of yours. So you'll be able to manage your devices just as they're being managed today. We'll just use some resources to create our networks available there. Of course, users will be able, they will have to pay for the firmware there as well, but it's an option so that you don't have to only use the device with our firmware, but actually with our firmware running on top of yours. Like a pseudo OS running on top of your existing OS, which basically would be OpenWRT. And in some cases, there are companies that have taken OpenWRT and created platforms around that, and they already have big deployments. We could partner with them, and they could just add a one-click solution for their clients to turn their device into a Wayru hotspot, or they can do it as a company and just provide their clients some type of benefit from the rewards being earned. Also, having OpenWRT as our base allows us to open up the possibilities for other people to become manufacturers of devices. So you yourself, you could take our firmware and make it so it will run in a device that you are creating yourself. You brand that as your own company. You can sell that as Wayru ready devices to people at whatever price you want. You will be able to do that and much, much more. We are even thinking about people creating their own devices at home, right? And just, it would be it wouldn't be that hard, maybe using a Raspberry Pi. And then what you'll do, you could also then maybe 3D print the case of whatever you want. Like, I don't know, like a Wi-Fi dragon, and you have it there in your house somewhere, and it's just generate crypto because whatever's inside is actually what's providing the connectivity, not the case. So there's so many possibilities when you use open source elements that of course, opens up your eyes as well. We can open this as much as possible as well. The devices doesn't have they don't have to look the same. You can create your device as well. Not right now, but in the future. Maybe you could, right? Maybe we could get together. We can give you some builds of the of the firmware. You could probably do it in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we're planning to do that in the future, so anybody can become a hotspot operator whichever way they want.
I mean, I can even see you guys running like some sort of competition, right? Build the craziest Wi-Fi router out there, and then people can be creative on the external part of that. I really like it, especially because I think that opens a lot of possibilities to scale as well, right? Because we see a lot of DePIN projects, they start by having their own hardware, but then there's fulfillment, there's manufacturing, and that can be like a hassle if you want to expand to the entire world. I think one thing that maybe we can talk about is like you guys started mostly focused on South America and Latin America, I would say. And then what are you guys now, and what is your future on expansion, let's say?
What we have established at our two hypotheses is that Wayru bring connectivity to places where there's no connectivity, like emerging markets, like in this case, let's use Latin America as an example, which we already did a pilot, and I can talk to you about that in a bit. So it's either that, or this could become, or other hypothesis that anybody anywhere in the world can either change their existing router to ours or just add a secondary router, because it will allow them to mine Wayru tokens just by having the device on, because that will create the illusion of coverage for users to become paying users or active users in the network, because they see that there is more coverage around. So in South America or in an emerging market, the idea is that if you deploy a network and you use Wayru's protocols, the usage will generate enough rewards so that this network can become self-sustainable. So, for example, we did a pilot with the UN, and the idea behind this pilot was prove that hypothesis number one. And they funded this small pilot in the low-income community. It was funded by the Archduke of Luxembourg through the United Nations, just to test that blockchain technologies can solve real-world problems. So we were expecting the network to be self-sustainable in about 3 years, but we achieved that in 1 year. So what we did, we got over around 1 million gigabytes consumed in this up until now from the day it started, and we've gotten over 60,000 monthly active users just in that small pilot, and over 500,000 unique users that ever connected during that year in that small pilot. All of this with only 42 access points. 42 hotspots. That's a lot of data in 1 year. So this allowed the deployers to understand that, okay, this is generating enough. We can continue sustaining this with fiat until the tokens are out, because token is not live yet. So it's sustainable in paper. They need to get their rewards, but they understand what they're earning, and they want to continue pursuing that deployment. So since it's a community managed network, they only want it to work. They want to use whatever they're getting to burn, so that they can continue to use the network over and over again. So this is pretty interesting. And on the other side, we were looking at the whole landscape, or the whole scope of, not landscape, but scope of the connectivity DePIN. And if we want to build a global network, we need a lot of networks to be shared, or a lot of operators to join a project, right? So if you need a lot of operators to join a project, you need to make it easy for them to join the project, because if you want mass adoption, you cannot have high costs as well. So if we're trying to solve the capex problem, and we're just shifting that to the user, also having a high capex to become part, the ROI is never going to get there. They're never going to get a return over whatever they invested. If your device is, I don't know, an indoor router for over $500, I think it's ridiculous. So we focused on bringing the price down of a Wi-Fi miner. So we are proud to say that we are going to be releasing a low-cost Wi-Fi miner in the very, very near future, that it'll go below $100 per Wi-Fi router. So it's basically that you're getting any router, and then the company that is selling you a router is just putting some elements on top and connecting it to a platform, but charging you 5, 6, 1,000% more than you will regularly spend on a Wi-Fi router. It seems kind of crazy to us. So, and that's a low-cost device, and we're also working on a pro indoor and pro outdoor version as well in the near future, and everything's going to be under $300. So, like the most expensive one is going to be under $300. So in other projects, like you start at that point, 250, 300 or more even for very, very, I don't know, routers that are not actually worth that much to make. So we focus on that. So to actually build a global network and to get all these people onboarded, we brought that down. And we started that path when we decided that we should focus on building the Wayru OS for compatibility. And that also brings the barrier much down. But you can say 50-50 of the operators. 50% want the plug and play, 50% want do it yourself or bring your own device option. So that's why we decided to go with both, but make sure that our plug and play option is not too costly for people around the world to join. And one of the reasons is that if you get a device shipped to you, I don't know, let's say in Brazil or in somewhere in Latin America, and you have to pay for customs 50, 60, 70% on top of that, and your device is already $500, dude, you're never going to make your money back. So you are missing out on the huge potential market, which is Brazil, or other emerging markets that have high custom pricing. So Wayru OS fixes that. A low-cost device also fixes that.
Man, hell yeah, I love it. I think this is a really good initiative. Exactly, because I think the price point of like around $100 is a great one, because it becomes interesting as well for people to give to their families for Christmas and New Year's. It becomes a no-brainer to buy one, right, for a coffee shop or something like that. I think that's definitely a killer pricing, comparing to if you buy something that's like $500, then people need to really think a lot before doing that. While $99, let's say for Christmas, it's no brainer.
Yeah, in some places, $500 is more than the monthly salary of a person in an emerging market. So nobody's going to be able to pay. If you want to only get the top of the pyramid to buy your devices, then fine, okay, you'll get 1% of the households and businesses to do it. If you want to reach 50 or plus % of the population or businesses out there to build with you, you need to make it accessible. If I could make it free, if I could just give the devices away, I would. Like, my goal is someday that I could just give the devices away to people somehow. Just make it as free and as cheap as possible for people to join, because the upside of that has no roof. If I overcharge, I immediately put a roof on top of my project that is I'm never going to be able to go over.
Exactly. And especially that's your goal, right? To really like have connectivity everywhere you go in the world. If you have a high price, the people who need the most are those who will not be able to achieve that. So that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything special on the Wayru OS you guys are working on?
Yes. So we are going to be supporting carrier data offloading to Wi-Fi. We're already doing internal testing, but we're going to roll out the production version in about a month or so. So this means that as soon as we do that, we can start reaching out to big mobile companies, big telcos, to offload their data to Wayru routers, and also we can reach out to small mobile virtual network operators in places where we already have more hotspots deployed. Also, this will allow us to start building out hexes that will have boosted rewards in our Explorer, because we'll know that if a company needs connectivity in a specific area to offload their data, that's where we will boost rewards for operators to go and deploy as fast as possible as well. So this opens a gazillion of possibilities for Wayru. We are also part of the Wireless Broadband Alliance. So Wayru OS, it's already open roaming ready. So this means that other users with open roaming credentials installed on the devices will be able to connect to Wayru. And Wayru users, because we are both becoming an identity provider and will becoming an access network provider for the Wireless Broadband Alliance, meaning all the users from the other networks from this alliance, they will be able to connect in our networks, but our users are having this becoming an identity provider. We provide them an identity to, of course, it's a decentralized identity that will be compatible with the open roaming protocols, and they will be able to connect to somewhat 3.5 million networks already deployed worldwide by this alliance, making it a no-brainer for anybody to download our app as well to get free connectivity everywhere they go and stop spending so much money on data.
IoTech's modular infrastructure empowers DePIN development across every vertical, creating a vibrant ecosystem of projects and real-world applications. By enabling projects to deploy in full or integrate our DePIN-optimized modules into existing frameworks, IoTech furthers its mission to democratize DePIN for everyone. IoTech is celebrating their recent $50 million investment with the first ever DePIN airdrop, featuring 5 training projects, all pre-TG, that are #building IoTech. Complete Galaxy tasks to climb the leaderboard to secure your airdrop. At heart, IoTech's Elite Gold on Discord even get whitelisted access to highly valued DePIN project public sales. Check it out. Interested in building on IoTech? Connect with the team at bd@iotech.io. Yeah, I love it. Every time you say something new, it's like becomes a more and more and more no-brainer for getting, starting to get involved with Wayru. So that's super, super exciting. Let me put myself on 2 profiles, right? I'm going to be like a coffee shop owner, which I was many years ago. What would be the advantage for me to get a Wayru device instead of just like a regular hotspot?
Many. Let's start with security. If you have a regular router in your business and you share the Wi-Fi password with your clients, they will be connecting to the same network that you are connecting your computers, where you do banking, where you do accounting, where you everything you do business related. Somebody with somewhat tech experience will be able to tap into that information. So we have somewhat solved that by creating a system where each user connects to the router in their own individual tunnel. So the way usually people connect is like a big highway. Everybody's on the same highway. We're just going ahead on this highway of data. But and you can see everybody around. So somebody that knows about tech, they can spoof around, spoof MAC addresses, know who's connected, and maybe try to either get their info, intercept their information or data when they're using the internet and whatnot. In our case, you go on your own tunnel. This means nobody can see you and you cannot see anybody else when you are connected to one of our networks. This doesn't solve 100% of the vulnerabilities when you connect to a Wi-Fi network, because there is no way to have a bulletproof 100% secure network anywhere. But we have been working a lot towards security, so it's as secure as possible for the people sharing and for the people connecting as well. Also, when our router is connected, it's connected to your router, and then it goes out to the internet. But it never, even the people connected to our router, they won't know that your router is connected to another network. They're not going to be able to see that either. So that also secures a lot your network. That's one. Then of course you're going to be have a hassle-free experience for your users to get online, because they just choose the network, click on connect, quick connect for 20 minutes, and they're good to go. After 20 minutes, they can redo it, and they'll never have to talk to you about the Wi-Fi. If they create an account, whenever they come to your shop, they'll be able to connect it without even thinking about it. They will just get connected. So that's another benefit. Of course, the reward benefit for everybody who connects your router and for having your router online all the time, because we pay for the uptime and for the usage. We're going to be releasing new docs about the rewards very soon. So I'm hoping by the time this airs, these are already live, and the hotspot is going to get rewarded every day. But they have to comply with just a couple of things to get the base rewards. and they can get multipliers based on better area where it's deployed, or more connections that you received, or more usage that your hotspot received. But either way, you get rewarded every day. So I think those are the three things that come right out of the box. And then we are working so that we can release a business solution for hosts, in this case, a cafeteria owner, right? Because sometimes they don't see the rewards as so interesting because they don't understand crypto. They don't want to go and have to create an account or an exchange or whatever. They just want to have a value for their business. That's what they're looking for when they look at these types of services. So in this case, they're going to be able to use their rewards directly on our platform to purchase services like a captive portal, like a branded captive portal for them. They can get detailed analytics of what's happening within their network, and they will be able to even advertise their business on the network because users watch videos or they watch ads to get online for free. So this will allow the same hosts that are sharing Wi-Fi that own a business to advertise their business on the network with their earnings, because sometimes they don't really care about the earnings. They care about the value that they can get by participating in this project. So we are building stuff that brings value to the actors of our ecosystem. And of course, to get this far, we brought a lot of experience from previous jobs that everybody in the team had. We've been talking to users. We've been talking to deployers specifically because deployers are a key element to any of these projects to succeed. So if a deployer has a hard time getting hosts, right, it's harder for us to grow as a network. And it's harder for a holder of a token to get rich on a token. So we need to make it as easy as possible for people to use the network, use the services on the network. And of course, all these services will burn token in one way or the other. So the more people use the network anywhere, either by deploying hotspots, using hotspots, benefiting from data that the hotspots can generate, it's all about burning tokens to bring the price of the token up because we're going to be emitting tokens every day for the operators that are online. So yeah, that all of that's going to be on the new documentation. I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions. You might want to do another podcast.
Yeah, we can do another one after the TG, for example. I think it's really interesting. It's really good. So you guys are making like a marketplace that people can actually use the Wayru tokens to advertise. I'm just thinking myself advertising my coffee shop in a competition. They're gonna have their own Wayru device there as well. It's gonna show my ad. I think it's interesting.
And it's interesting because this allows, if the only thing we need is for example, to burn tokens to achieve stuff on the network, that means that others can also build upon what we're doing on Wayru, because maybe somebody else can also build an ad server to serve ads on Wayru to provide connectivity, because basically what they're doing, they're burning tokens to get data credits to provide to whoever watched their ads. So this allows other businesses to be built upon Wayru, not us necessarily building everything. We want to build like the basics of the things that we think that are the most important for the ecosystem to thrive. But we also have a bunch of ideas that other projects will be able to build, or projects that already have stuff built. They can just somewhat try and get some compatibility or use APIs or SDKs from Wayru in the future to just get whatever they're doing on top of the Wayru ecosystem.
Yeah, I guess jumping from a little bit more centralized approach and then decentralized as slowly, right? I think I see that's the right way to do it, to be honest, because a lot of projects they try to do 100% decentralized, they usually don't work or they're just very slow. So going from a centralized and slowly opening it up, I think that's the correct way to do it. Now let's say now I'm the person actually going to the coffee shop. I like to take this different user profile. Am I going to be making tokens by also using the network and watching the ads? Or just watching the ads is the way that I pay for using the network?
You are going to be able to generate tokens by becoming a user, depending on the stuff you do on the network. So if you just go and connect to a network, you either watch an ad or you have a premium version of the app where you don't watch ads and just get connected, right? But once you're connected, you can check into that network, right? You can do a couple of extra steps. You can check into a network. So when you check in, you'll get Wayru points within the app. So the Wayru points allow users to get rewarded when they do some activities, and they will be able to burn those points to participate in an also daily reward distribution for users. So everyday users are going to be able to get points by doing stuff on the mobile app, and then they're going to be able to burn them to get rewarded in Wayru tokens. So that's one, checking in. You can also validate a network. So you can just look into the map and see which networks we need to get validated. You can just go nearby, connect to the network, and complete the process. You make a speed test, you make a couple of things, and that will also reward you in Wayru credit and in Wayru points, and those you'll be able to burn at the end of each day or whenever you want to burn them, and you'll participate in every day's reward distribution. That's another way. You can use the app to auto-connect to every network, because when you don't have the app, you have to log into every network. Every time you go, you connect, you click connect, and you're there. But with the mobile app, what you do, you configure your auto-connect, Wayru auto-connect credentials. And with those credentials, your device is ready to get connected automatically to every single place. So that's another thing another way to get connected, or another way for users to use the platform. So either captive portal or using the mobile app to complete some task. You can also share non-Wi-Fi networks. So for example, let's say you're a user of the Wi-Fi app and you go to a restaurant and there's no Wayru Wi-Fi there. What you can do, you can ask for the network password, you get connected, and you share that in the mobile app. When you share in the mobile app, the credentials or the password is encrypted. And then when another user comes to that restaurant with the Wayru app, they will connect automatically, because the application has the credentials to access this network. It knows where it is, it knows what the name is, it knows everything, so it can get connected automatically, unless somebody changes the password, of course. So users that do this, they will also get rewarded when they share it, and they'll get rewarded for continuous connections that those get through the mobile app. So when a user connects using the mobile app, and we find that to be a successful connection, they'll get rewarded as well in Wayru points to then go and burn every day for let's call these the Wayru points token pool per epoch.
What are your next milestones in the next coming months?
First milestone, release the new documentation with a slightly updated website with that it's more aligned with the new docs. It's not going to change that much. It's going to change in how we reward operators. It's just gotten better and better and better for operators without making it harder or more expensive for users to connect. So it's an upgrade for everybody. We plan to open shop again. I can't say when, but it's going to be open soon. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but maybe by the time it airs, shop is already open. Maybe we already sold out again, like
probably
we did last
tomorrow.
Time. Okay, so maybe shop's not going to be open yet. It's going to be open
Yes.
soon. But yeah, stay tuned, because you don't want to miss the opportunity to get one of Wayru hotspots when we open again. I think those are the most important in the very, very short term. Then we are planning to have our TGE this year. It's going to be this year. A lot of people or a lot of projects are thinking about not releasing tokens this year, but maybe next mid-bear, so they can get advantage of next bull. But not us. We are going to be releasing our token this year. So you can expect our token to be released before the end of the year. And yeah, building multi-chain compatibility. There is some things we're working on behind the scenes that I cannot say yet. But if they become fruitful, this is going to be very, very great and big news for the overall DePIN ecosystem and for Wayru as well, for everybody in the Wayru community.
Amazing. What else would you like to tell our users, and where can they go to know more about Wayru?
Yeah, sure. So I encourage users to wait out a couple of days to go to our website to see the new website. But I think the one single thing that you can do today to help the project the most and to learn about the project the most is to download our mobile app. It's available on iOS and Android. You can download it today. It's free. You create an account and you can start earning without spending a dime. That's the most important thing. And then, of course, join our Discord server and our Telegram channels so that you are up to date with the latest news. And always, If you can follow us on X or Twitter, however you call it, it would be great as well for you to get the latest news of what's happening in the ecosystem. If you're not so much into chat rooms and communities because there's so much going on, maybe you can just follow us on X, and that'll give you all the latest information about the project. But number one, download the mobile app. If you don't have a hotspot yet and you want a hotspot, you can get probably a second-hand router from Amazon for less than $20 and turn that into a Wayru hotspot this weekend. So go ahead and do that. If not, if you want a plug and play device, either try to get somebody to sell you their device that they just bought on their previous sale, or wait for our shop to be open again very, very soon.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll make sure to add all the information in the description of this video or audio anywhere people are listening to it. Thanks so much for joining. I think it was a very, very interesting conversation. Let's hope to record another one very, very soon, actually, because I want to see all these updates, TG, and things you guys are building. It's super interesting. And for all the users out there, make sure to come to deepinhub.io, subscribe to the newsletter, because that's where we have a lot of the updates that are happening on our own platform as well. There's a lot of cool things coming up that I cannot talk, but it's going to be worth if you're going to check on the newsletter, and then of course, on the socials at Hotspotty on X and Twitter. Thanks so much for joining me. It's a pleasure. See you, I guess, in Token 2049 or around the world somewhere.
Yeah, see you then. Again, thank you so much for inviting me. A pleasure to be here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and have a great one. Take care. Bye.
Cheers.